Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of NSM 2023. It's our national sales kickoff for JB&A. It's the week when we get to bring in all the cool stuff that our sales team is going to be bringing to you, our channel partners, for the year. Now, today, I'm excited. We've got some new stuff here. And William with PTZ Optics is here to show us all the cool things that PTZ Optics is bringing to the channel this year. William, roll it out for me. What in the world is in front of me?
Absolutely. So this is all brand new stuff. So this represents a complete change in our flagship model cameras. We've been on the G2 for about 5 years now.
I was waiting for the G6. I mean, like, it totally was.
For that much time, we should be at least on the G6.
Yeah.
But, so we've moved from the G2 platform 1080p 60 camera onto the Move and the Link platform. We're making that jump to 4K in both models. Now, what's the difference? We have a Dante AVH enabled camera and an NDI HX3 enabled camera, both doing up to 4K 60, which is very important because a lot of the people out there are just doing 4K 30. And when you're in that broadcast, live streaming, or even video conferencing space, you do want that 60 frames a second. So we have an entire brand new core line of cameras at PTZ Optics, and they come with brand new everything, including brand new packaging. We have it.
New boxes.
New boxes.
We did the unboxing earlier. I'm sorry for those of you who are waiting to see that.
Yep. So no more of the cardboard boxes if you need to throw them on the shelves or you actually want to put them into a consumer environment. Now you can. It's not just a brown box. We also reskinned our web UI to make it more efficient. So we did a little bit of UI UX development on that side. It's not so cumbersome and 90s looking, if you will. And we are launching new software at the end of the year. We're calling it the Camera Management Platform, or the CMP. It's in beta development right now. Sometime towards the middle of the year, end of Q2, mid Q2, we'll be able to launch that. It includes every functionality that you have in your OSD of all of your cameras, as well as the ability to make any PTZ Optics, either G2 or later, camera auto tracking without having to use a computer.
Now that's a big departure right there, because most manufacturers are creating two versions of every camera. Oh, we got our auto tracking or non-auto tracking and then charging more for it.
Yeah.
You guys are going a different path there. You're basically saying, hey, free to the world, auto tracking for everyone.
Auto tracking for everyone. And even the Move and the Move and the Link cameras, so we have the Move and the Link, they come with auto tracking available on the camera right out of the box. You don't need to download any software. You don't need to include a new CPU or another computer to manage it. You can actually do it straight from the camera. And one of the very cool things about the auto tracking functionality that we have is you actually can select a single presenter. Use generic facial mapping. So you can actually say, hey, I want to track that person. It'll track just that person. Someone could cross in front. Someone could stand up in the background, move around. It'll stay stuck to them. We actually showed it off at ISE literally last week. We were both in Barcelona, which is why we're doing our best, but it was awesome. People really enjoyed it. So yeah, these cameras, the Move and the Link, just represent that next step for PTZ Optics, going from that G2 basically above and beyond what most of our clients even need.
Yeah, and this is a big move for you guys, not to coin a move term, but I mean, you sort of held back a little while. You had the G2 series for, like you said, a good while. And so this jump is pretty big.
Yeah.
And it allows you to sort of leapfrog some other people at the same time because you waited a little longer, you let some of the market technologies develop out. But I do want to play a little Sesame Street here. One of these things is not like the other. We've got a pretty massive size difference here.
Yeah.
A little David and Goliath. What's going on in this camera that makes it so much bigger?
Absolutely, yes. So this is our 20x optical zoom. And then this is our 30x. And the reason we had to go with such a larger form factor, A, we have a bigger chip, we have a bigger sensor, so we have to be able to get there. When you go to a 30x optical zoom, just the difference in glass that you have to do.
It's pretty incredible. I mean,
side
by side here, people. We got Wally and his little cousin.
There you go. And so because you have so much more physically, weight-wise actually, in the camera, you have to have the motors to match it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are looking for more and more of a cinematic look in their PTZ cameras. That really wasn't a thing in the past, but now people really want that smooth, quote unquote, shot. So we just had to account for all of that. It really just has to do with the actual physical weight of the camera, physical weight of the sensor, processor, chip, extra, all that.
All right, I'm gonna shift this camera over just a little bit and we're just gonna show off a little bit of that 30x lens because I think that's like bread and butter in the space, is to be able to get in. So our lovely model, Delana Collins over there, there she is. Mixmaster Jordan, do you have control of the camera? Okay, go ahead and I would do it myself, but my voodoo isn't working right now. There it is. So yeah, give us a little zoom in there. Let's talk about that lens so we can see it over our shoulder here. Always playing with the focus. Look at that. Ooh. That focus is great, especially at that distance. We got a good 2 feet there on that mic arm. Oh yeah, she loves it when we get close-ups on the pores. Yeah, I'm gonna hear about this one later. This is like an HR meeting waiting to happen right here. Yeah. So, there it is. Lovely. All right, but I mean that is the beauty of those 30x lenses, that ability to get really close up on your subjects and get some fun there. So love that part of it. All right. So let's spin around and talk about the backside. Yep. So in terms of options, we've got obviously gig port on all of them because they're IP enabled as well as controlled. We've got audio in and outs, and so we can pull a source, push a source. You've got your HDMI and your SDI. Now these are 3G SDIs in all these, correct?
Yep, all of these are 3G SDI.
But we can, assuming, get 4K out of the HDMI ports.
Absolutely, yep.
Right, so we got that. And then we've got our serials in 485. So all the connections, if you're old school analog, you can still control these old school. Of course, all of them support PTZ control over IP.
Correct.
And that's the beauty of moving to all these new codecs. Now, as long as we're talking about over IP, we've got 2 different things happening here. So you've got traditional NDI HX for the sort of the NDI market space, but this is fresh.
Yeah.
Dante.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about that space and why the move towards Dante.
Absolutely. So anybody in broadcast probably doesn't have a great familiarity with Dante, but anybody in the Pro V space, or Pro AV space, I should say, Dante is pretty prevalent. It's an audio solution, obviously, that's been deployed for years and years. Our analytics on it say that there's something like 5 million endpoints using Dante AV-H.
Nice.
Which means that there's just an entire ecosystem out there for the, obviously, audio side. And a lot of those clients are looking for a video aspect to their installs that they can put over that IP infrastructure. Because NDI and Dante, they just don't talk well to each other.
They're a little bit like angry cousins.
Yeah.
Hatfields and McCoys, that type of thing.
Absolutely.
That's fair.
You can think of it as like Apple and PC. They just don't work.
Apple, Google, that'd be more fun.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess the value though to somebody who's into that ecosystem is they get one control interface, right?
Yeah,
They can sort
exactly.
of see their audio and their video in one platform and sort of manage it that way, whereas you'd be separating if you stuck with the NDI version.
Yeah.
Now the big one does have NDI in it.
Yeah. So the big one has NDI, and we will be launching a big one for the Dante market as well. Yeah. So we'll have 12, 20, and 30x. And speaking of connections, our G2 line, we used to have a USB, an SDI, and an NDI camera, and they were separate, right? So you'd have to purchase 3 separate SKUs and 3 separate zooms in order to fulfill the marketplace. We've actually just taken all of those connectors, jammed them all onto a single platform. So now it's literally 12, 20, and 30x. Do you want NDI or do you want Dante? That's it. White.
No, that's brilliant because that actually simplifies a lot for the customers because they don't have to think about, well, what do I want to do this week versus next week?
Exactly.
Right? And so it gives that flexibility of I can go USB, I can go IP, I can go baseband. It's all there and available.
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredible. So the cameras are available now?
Yep, cameras are available now. The Move series is shipping. And the Link series, the Dante-enabled camera, we actually just released price sheets this week for pre-orders, and those will be shipping end of February, early March.
Brilliant. And then what's the ETA on the new control platform, the CMP?
The CMP, I believe we're pegging right now for probably like March, April. It's right now, it's being beta tested actually by over 250 end users. Perfect. We're really putting it through its paces. We really want to make sure we're developing stuff that is functional for the world outside. Again, PTZ Optics, we come from an install integrator background for 35 years, so everything that we design and develop and then put to market, we want to make sure is actually functional for the channel partners out there. So that CMP, once we get the green light from everyone doing the beta test, we'll go ahead and we'll push it out.
That's brilliant. I'm glad you're beta testing it.
Yeah.
That's an important factor.
Absolutely.
So, all right, so this is it. This is the Move line, the Link line, available now. Well, thanks for being here, man.
Of course,
it's a
man.
pleasure having you. All right, that's it for this episode from the NSM 2023. Glad to have you. Keep your eyes out for these. They'll be available on our shelves very shortly, if not already. And we'll see you on the next episode.